The Philippines Playbook, a strategic guide for operators and suppliers.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. It's pronounced Quiogue, by the way, but it's okay, no one gets it right. So good afternoon everyone, it's a pleasure to be here at Sigma. They told me to talk about all the regulations that deal with online gaming, basically B2B and B2B providers in 15 minutes. So I'm gonna try my best, but I'm gonna be compressing a lot of things. So if you have any questions, just approach me or our team after. I think let's start with the first two bold facts that I always tell my clients when they come to the Philippines, right? First is the Philippines right now is the only regulated online gaming jurisdiction in Asia. And second, it is just a matter of time before the rest of Asia follows. And, we all know that. We've been seeing all of the signs, right? Hong Kong has just announced that they have plans to legalize online sports betting for basketball through the Jockey Club. Japan and Thailand, as they form their framework for land-based casinos, it's inevitable that they are going to look at online gaming sooner or later. And then there are persistent rumors of our other neighboring countries, some more aggressive than the others, that they are also going to go into the online gaming field. So what does that mean, right? So I guess two things again. First, for operators and suppliers looking to enter or expand into Asia, the Philippines is really the only strategic way to enter the market right now because it has its own regulatory framework, right? It just makes sense. This is, I guess what you can say, this is your regulated gateway to online gaming in Asia. And two, I think from a regulatory perspective, and I think a lot of people have noticed this, all eyes are on us, specifically, I guess, on a regulator, PAGCOR, right? How they regulate, who they allow in, all the systems they build to make this and set a precedent for online gaming in Asia. The Philippines is starting to be not just a pioneer, but actually it is becoming proof of concept. So I think that's what we're going to start with today. I'm going to give, I think I'll break down my speech in like three parts. I'll first give you just a brief, overview of the regulatory framework of gaming in Asia. Let's first ignore the operator role of PAGCOR. Let's focus on them first being a regulator. And I think you will also get some flavor of the land-based because you can see it's going to be highly connected. And then we'll go through all the key developments, where we see regulations going, and then how you can successfully enter the market. For those who are not yet in the market. Okay, so this is just, it's not in the rules, but this is just how I see regulatory powers of PAGCOR, right? And I break it really into three parts. There is the licensing, the accreditation, and then I guess what I call the probity and audits, right? So this is how I see them regulating entrants. So licenses really, so how do I define licenses? Licenses is PAGCOR's authority to issue actual gaming licenses or those that are issued to B2C providers. These are entities that operate games. These are the ones that face the actual players and take the bets. Accreditation, on the other hand, it's I guess a little bit different. This is the regime for suppliers and service providers and those who support the operators. This includes gaming suppliers, your EGMs, platforms, affiliates, customer support companies, and more. So while they're not licensed to operate games, they must still register and be accredited, right? And what's important, I think, to know is that accreditation puts you under the regulatory arm of PAGCOR. So we just have to remember that when we talk about B2B accreditation later on, right? It's not in any way like a passive regulation. It's more of, you are under PAGCOR's visible control, right? And that ecosystem. And the third role is all about probity and audits. Well, that's just how I call it, because it means that even after you're licensed or accredited, PAGCOR, you're not off the hook yet. So PAGCOR conducts regular periodic checks just to make sure that before and during your operations in the Philippines, you are considered suitable. They'll look into your systems, financial status, and everything, right? And this is critical as part of PAGCOR's really push to curb illegal gambling in the Philippines. So I guess breaking that down, licensing gets you in, accreditation makes you visible, and probity keeps you in check. So let's move on to how this is applied today, and this is going to be quick. Okay. Oh, you gave me the wrong. It's still not working. Okay, so, you saw the P word right away. Okay, so I split licenses between offshore and onshore. And we'll kill this off right away because, as you know, offshore licensing has been deemed illegal for operators by virtue of EO 74. So there's supposed to be an X here, so that everyone will be aware that there is no more offshore gaming in the Philippines by virtue of law. Yes. So we move now very quickly to onshore gaming, which means the bettors are within the Philippines, because this is really the only thing that is allowed now. So under onshore, you have land-based. So you have, let's not forget that PAGCOR is also an operator. So they have PAGCOR-operated casinos. They also have joint ventures with other companies wherein they are in a revenue-sharing regime with other players in the market. And then there are the integrated resorts wherein PAGCOR is allowed to enter into investment contracts with different entities, and they are allowed to conduct their operations in the Philippines as integrated resorts. As you know, integrated resorts has also hotels, entertainment complexes, so it's a whole regime under PAGCOR. Here are just some of the examples of the integrated resorts. So online, of course, is also under onshore, because the legal online gaming that is allowed in the Philippines, you're only allowed to target and allow betting for those who are within the Philippines. And I put this arrow between this is because, online gaming in the Philippines is still sort of a hybrid structure. As you know, during the pandemic, it was only the integrated resorts or the land-based casinos that were allowed to do online gaming. And then now, even with the online regime, there is still a requirement to be tied to a retail venue, which is where your players still have to be registered. So it's just really a way of PAGCOR controlling the environment wherein there is still some linkage between online and offline. So let's go to accreditation just very quickly. Again, I define it and divide it between offshore and onshore. So SCBPOs, my favorite accredited companies, these are really those BPOs that supply services or provide customer support and different kind of services to those that are legally licensed foreign operators abroad. So we all know them. You have Entain here. You have William Hill. The representative of Amused earlier was here. So they do not allow betting in the Philippines, but they just provide back office services. And then you have the onshore, which is, I guess, what everyone calls the PIGOs. They actually provide services to those that are here. So who are these? I still define them between land-based and online. So you have accredited suppliers of land-based casinos and operators. You have gaming machine suppliers. They're all over here. Gaming paraphernalia suppliers, and then some employees. So in general, anyone who provides services and supplies equipment to any PAGCOR casino or any integrated resort has to be registered or accredited by PAGCOR. And then the latest news, I guess, from PAGCOR is the requirement now to accredit B2B suppliers of online gaming companies. So these include gaming system administrators, gaming affiliates, and support system providers. And it's a whole list. We'll go through them later because now even, for instance, marketing affiliates, KYC providers, customer support specialists, as long as they're outside the company, meaning they're not being done within the operator, they now need to be accredited. So just showing the link, online B2B provides to the online operators, and then land-based provides to land-based casinos. Probity is pretty simple. PAGCOR conducts regular system audits, probity checks, employees training. Actually, based on our conversations with PAGCOR, probity and regular audits will not now be done before they come in, but will now be on a yearly basis. So obviously, there's a lot more scrutiny in the gaming space. So I guess that provides you with a whole, just a bird's eye view of the accreditation process, right? So let's move on to how this is really applied today. So as you know, previously, B2B accreditation of online gaming companies, they were not required, but now PAGCOR is taking it very seriously. They believe that this is the way to really curb illegal gambling. What does that mean? If you want to provide services to legal and regulated online gaming companies in the Philippines, you need to be accredited by PAGCOR. So even if you are a foreign-based supplier providing Philippine licensing online gaming operators, then you have to be accredited. So this includes aggregators, content providers, service providers, payment channels and gateways, marketing and promotional firms, KYC, membership system providers, and independent gaming test labs. So basically, everyone you see here today, almost everyone will need to be accredited. It's such a great time to be a gaming lawyer. So it's a deliberate move of PAGCOR really to bring structure, traceability, and accountability in the ecosystem. So what is important to PAGCOR is that they need someone here in the Philippines, whether as an agent, whether as an entity, whether as a representative office that they can call and hold accountable if there are ever any issues. I won't go into the granular details. These are rules that are available in the PAGCOR website, but maybe I'll spend a few minutes talking about what my clients or our clients have been concerned, right? So is there going to be a transition period? Yes, there will be a transition period. So these rules were released maybe a few weeks ago, right? PAGCOR, we intend, will come out with implementing rules and regulations by this week, and then probably give suppliers until the end of the year to be able to become accredited. Now, that's not saying you should wait until the last minute. Our understanding is there are gaming operators that are now requiring or at least wanting to see their suppliers at least start the accreditation process with PAGCOR. So what does this mean, right? This is the real conversation, I think. PAGCOR is open to dialogue. So, for example, if you read the rules, if it doesn't make sense, I guess, in your business structure, your business model, what we have found helpful is that you can explain to PAGCOR, what do you do? What is an accreditation process that works for, I guess, your business model? And in our experience, they are very open to listening. And I think overall, yes, it's good for lawyers, but it's also good for the Philippines. I think the whole B2B accreditation system sends a message to the international community that the Philippines is not just open for business, but it is serious about doing it right. What do we expect? I think based on our discussions with our clients, based on our regular interactions with PAGCOR, we can expect more rules, not just in accreditation, but I think PAGCOR is looking more now on sustainability of the industry. There's a lot of political talks there. The Philippines being the Philippines, right? You hear from different sectors, politicians, the church. Gaming is always quite a sensitive topic in the Philippines. So it's all about making the industry sustainable. 3 weeks ago, for the first time, online gaming GGR surpassed land-based. So there is still potential for it to grow. But PAGCOR knows that growth without guardrails isn't sustainable. So here, I guess, is the takeaway, right? The Philippines is no longer a testing ground. It's an emerging regulatory model for the rest of Asia. The rules are tightening, the standards are rising, and the opportunity is here. So it's all about who moves in first and who moves in the right way. So this is a country and, I guess, a jurisdiction where you know you can build. So I think my advice, well, they asked me to give my advice, is that positioning really your company and your service really matters, because I think in a year or two, the question won't be, should we enter the Philippines? But you will be asking yourselves, why didn't we do it sooner? So I think that's the end of my keynote. If you have any questions, let me know.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mary Antoinette.